Yeah.
So legend, I'm recording, by the way. So everything you say is live
Oh
and
no.
there's no editing. I literally, from this, Marty, it goes straight to live. So,
I'm going to incriminate myself.
oh, you're so amazing. Let's get going. Guys, this
Okay.
is a long time friend of mine. I'm not too sure how long I've known you for, Marty. It feels like forever. The most important thing is why I want you to meet Marti Melville is because she made my dreams a reality. I came out of Hollywood burnt. I came out of Hollywood fed up. I became neighbors with Marty down in Orange County. And lo and behold, she's a writer, a novelist, a screenwriter. She worked with some folks at Disney. And I really didn't want to hear anything about it, right, Marty? The first time we met and you knew that I'd moved from Hollywood, you're like, oh, you were so excited, but I was like, oh, please leave me alone.
Yeah. Oh, you were? No way.
After 16 years in that system, because it is a science and it's a method and it works, and I
Yeah.
was just burnt. I mean, I had just been taken for, a lot. And anyway.
Well, I'd been taken advantage of too when I worked with
Yeah.
that previous company and had fired them that week, that very week. And I thought, I'm going to be blackballed. That's it. Nobody's going to want me to write for them anymore. Hollywood's history. And you come trotting down in front of my house and you're like, hey, what are you writing on, Marty? And I told you, and you're like, well, that's a really good program. And I remember thinking, well, what do you know about screenwriting, Kevin? You sell real estate, right? So then you go, oh, my name is Kevin Dutoit. Look me up on IMDb. And I did, and I saw this credit that just went, I thought, holy cow.
That's
so
amazing.
It was serendipity.
And Marty, I have a question for you. Where are those people today? The ones that you worked with? Where are they today, Marty?
The one that, well, several of them are still involved and doing really well. And they have reached out to me and I've reached out to them, and we have a nice relationship. The person that was unethical in that business deal, without getting into what happened, it was basically kind of illegal what she did. I don't know where she is. She's gone. She's not even in California anymore. So history.
Absolutely. So Marty, I'm gonna go with a version of some questions for you. And all I'm looking for is your secret sauce, in a sense of, if I'm a new writer, novelist, screenwriter, giving me the guidance, because ultimately I know what you do, but I want the audience to know what you do in an organic way.
Okay.
Because my channel is all about, really at the end of it, it's all about business. The mindset sets you up for success. And so I'm interviewing a wide array of massively impactful human beings to help us all out, because your craft, your talent, your passion is a business. That's how you make a living. So what you're going to help us with today is that. So let's get started. Okay. Marty, I'm going to pretend like I'm a dreamer and I've got this great idea, and I believe I have a one-of-a-kind story that I want to share, but I have zero idea of how to get started. I have zero idea of what it takes to get my story, my thoughts on words into paper. Just take me through a brief process of how you accomplish that, and then how you can help me accomplish that, because you also have a great story. I like your story.
Oh, thanks. So that's a question I've had asked several times by many other writers, because as you know, I don't just write for myself. I also ghostwrite, and I ghostwrite novels, and I ghostwrite screenplays. So you and I have been involved with that process a little bit. And the novel writing, I think what the key answer to that first question is for anybody is, what is your goals with this project? So not everybody has the same goal. Some people just want to get something on paper, get it in print, and I'm speaking books, get it in print and have it available for their posterity. They don't care about selling it in a bookstore.
Okay.
Other people want to go global. Some people want to write a script and have it be available for, TV, or they want it available for, maybe the theater, or maybe it's just, like a local, not just, but it's a local theater company and they just need something to help boost their community. And others want scripts to go, to the highest level, which would be Hollywood, feature films. So once the goal is identified, the next step is to sit down and write. And the biggest mistake I think people make when they write, doesn't matter what they write, is they either write for an audience or they write for money. And granted that you do, you know, this is a business. You have to treat it as a business if you want it to go anywhere. But when you put that writing hat on and you sit down to write, you have to step out of looking at, well, are they going to like this? Is this going to be good? You know, am I going to make money on this? And really get into the meat and potatoes of what this story is that you want to write, and have it be really what's in your heart, right? What you're feeling inspired to write. Because I believe that everybody writes. I don't believe that everybody does, but I believe really good writers write with inspiration.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not just, I can't make stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So when that happens and you get your writing on paper and you get that first draft there, then you find someone like Kevin and ask them to please be gentle with your delete button as they edit. Now, then you find a really good editor.
Right, exactly.
And right now during this shelter at home stage, I mean, I've got my own projects, but I'm in the middle of actually editing 2 other people's books.
Yeah, nice.
So if you can find a really good editor to come in behind your initial written work, that gives you a second set of eyes, and then the business hat comes on.
Oh, I love the high talk. I love it. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I love it.
And you treat this like very valuable, exceptionally valuable intellectual property, even if nobody's put a price tag on it.
Right. That's important. So Marty mentioned intellectual property. The abbreviation, if you hear the word IP, what that means is you own intellectual property, which is in a sense like gold. It's like the Midas touch. Right. Because that intellectual property, nobody else owns it but you. It's like one of a kind. And if you treat it correctly, like Marty said, and you have a system and you have a formula to execute it, at the end of the day, you have something in your hand, like the written script or TV show or movie or Netflix series. That's gold that you own. That could really set you up for success and make a lot of money for you.
Right. That's exactly right. Yeah. I think that others will never respect you or respect your property or your talents or your abilities or what you've produced if you don't respect it.
Right.
So that means you don't go showing it to, you know, your best friend and say, hey, will you look at this and tell me what you think? Absolutely not. This stays with you. And, you know, Kevin and I have worked together, and he and I signed NDAs together.
Yeah, absolutely. This is business.
Out of respect to one another. Right. Yeah. And out of respect to the project. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, how many days and hundreds of hours and emails and correspondence and conversations, you know, face-to-face conversations and text messages. And I've been with Marty. Marty does a lot of seminars. So Marty's flown me to some of her seminars up in Utah. You had some down in Dana Point. We did a big seminar in Dana Point. I mean, Marty, at the end of the day, it's business. You're under contract to perform. So,
correct. Correct. And, you know, when people hire you to either write for them as a ghostwriter, or they hire you to come in and teach them, which is, we did a seminar in Park City, and we've done a seminar, like Kevin said, in Dana Point. And I know he's done seminars independent of me, and I've done independent of Kevin, taught classes and coached writing. And it's, when you're hired or paid to do that, you know, there's an ethics side of that comes out of that too. It's a whole different animal.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Marty,
you gotta deliver. If somebody's willing to pay you, better deliver.
I have an idea, and I want to put on paper, but I have nowhere to start. I have nothing. I have no understanding of arc structure or the different formats that they use in the industry. So I can actually reach out to you, right? I can reach out to you.
Absolutely.
And you'll guide me through a person through that process. Let's talk about that, because they're all going to have that question. Well, I want to contact Marty, and I want to work with Marty. What does that look like? And so just take me through in a kind of a regular conversation piece or a day-to-day activity what that looks like, Marty.
Okay. So if someone is interested in writing to me, the best, or having me work with them, whether that's coaching or ghostwriting or whatever, to answering questions even, the best way for that to happen is to reach out via email. I don't answer my phone, so don't even try that. But the email is martimelville@gmail.com.
It'll be in the description. Yeah, absolutely. It'll all be there,
You'll
Marty.
Put it in
absolutely.
There? Okay. Yeah, Marti Melville, like Herman Melville, @gmail.com. So if you email me, the next thing I'm going to ask is that very first question: what's your goal with this? Because that directs how I write with you or work with you or, advise you. Then the next step is I'm going to tell you to forget all of the rules that you learned in school and just get the ideas on paper, right?
Right.
So whether it's in an email form and you just send me an email with all your ideas, which I don't prefer, or if you write them down on 3x5 cards, which is how I do it. I think we took that from the screenwriting process. Just get your ideas down, write it down. It doesn't matter. I actually have my computer propped up on my big long box of 3x5s that I write all my ideas on. And there's probably 20 stories in there. And there's like on some pages, like some of them, I'll be driving the car and I get an idea or a thought that I know is meant for a book or a story, and I will write it down on a 3x5. And of course, I'm trying to stop the car before I write. Sometimes I don't, but I get it down.
Your mind's always going, Marty.
It's always going. And sometimes when I don't want it to go is when the best stuff comes in. So, like, for example, there was one time, and I still have this card, I wrote the word oranges because I'm like going, oranges, what does that have to do with? I had no idea. But I took that one card that says oranges, which I saved as an example of it doesn't matter what the idea is, write it down, right? And I used that to talk about scurvy on the ship in one of my books. And of course, it wasn't oranges. We turned that into limes, which is why they called sailors limeys. And yeah, I think that's why. And anyway, off went a whole chapter. So any idea you have, write it down. Then I'm going to ask for those ideas. And my favorite way to get it, if you are long distance and I can't sit with you in person, is to have you send it via bullet point.
Yep.
And the reason is because then I can go back and put this together much the same way you did when you were looking at the script and said, oh, there was a chapter 8, I think it was in the script. Okay. It was the scene 8 scene or something. Kevin said, this first scene sucks. We got to put this one up front. So he whips out that whole scene and sticks it in the front. And I was like, you're messing with the story, Kevin. He made me stand on the other side of Starbucks while he hit delete, and moved everything around. Well, thankfully, I trusted Kevin. Right. Not only just because of his experience, because I know his character and I know he would never do anything intentionally to cause harm to me or any intellectual property. And as a result, that script has won, 3 or 4 Hollywood awards.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And I've been with Marty down there. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Marty, that's what I love is it really is constructive criticism. And especially when me and you began as writing partners years ago, it was a relationship. There was a learning curve. We had to kind of merge together and understand. The things were wildly different because when I was working with you, Marty, you acted everything out. So I was highly entertained. I was just enjoying and laughing at you. And you.
Are you going to tell that story?
And you realized that it was very healthy because then I could take what I saw and put it onto paper. Right. And also the other thing, Marty, is not that I'm as much of a writer as you, but my input, I'm able to spot trends or amazing opportunities, and I'm able to merge them together with your skills. And that's also a talent I have. Because I'm not like you, that's a full-time writer. That's what you do every day, all day.
Correct.
That's. However, I can help you with sometimes with those little nuggets. Those little gold mines.
Well,
Marty, I want you tell us that story because I want to hear it from you, and then what I'll do is I'll add to it.
Oh my goodness, I don't know if I remember it the same way you did. This was years ago. That we always met in Starbucks, mostly because it was a good place to meet, and there's a lot of fodder for characters in Starbucks.
So you loved watching people. Yeah, you loved watching.
Yeah, we could watch people and get ideas, but also Kevin could ban me to the other side of the store and delete half of my novel without getting.
That's crunching it, Marty. That's crunching.
You did a good job. Yeah. And I was going to say, before I tell you the story, you brought up the point of trust. I think it's really important that when you work with someone that you have trust with that person, which is why I would never give any piece of intellectual property, a script or an idea or a concept or even a log line or anything to anyone without an NDA. The log line, let me take back on that, because you have to do that without an NDAs to pitch it. But you want to make sure that whoever you're working with, you work with well and you trust. And I trust Kevin implicitly. I mean, he would say things I could not understand. I didn't know the rhyme or reason.
Bloody accent.
But I trusted you. I trusted everything you said, and we went with it. And he turned my spun, whatever that was, into gold. And so we have a great partnership. It turned out some really good stuff. Yeah. So the story is, I had written a part, I think they were in the middle. This is a pirate novel series, and it's based on.
Exactly. This is Marti's Deja Chronicles, which when I read her work, I said, Marti, this has to be a movie. And I know you wanted it to be a movie, which it was, but I'm like, Marti, this is like a continuous movie. This is like the Star Wars, Avatar. This is one of those movies like Lord of the Rings.
It could be a great series. I'm into series right now, but yeah. So yeah, Kevin was really supportive of it. And so the whole thing is based on a real pirate. And I tried to take history and do the Dan Brown magic and just kind of twist the facts in a little bit to create the fiction. And I think there was a battle. They were fighting somebody on the ship, and Kevin couldn't quite visualize how they were doing what they were doing. So I stood up and demonstrated swordplay in Starbucks.
In the middle, and it's a busy Starbucks. It's in Monarch Beach, which is by the Ritz-Carlton and the St. Regis. I mean, it is a bit, and yes, Marti out playing a scene in front of that's a busy Starbucks. That was a busy Starbucks, Marti.
And people in those areas typically don't go to public facilities to demonstrate sword fighting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was riveted. I was riveted by your portrayals of the different scenes, because you know me, I get excited, then I can take what I see and I can put it to words.
So well, Marti, you're very visual.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Marti. Thank you, Marti. So Marti, at the end of the day, I've worked with you now, and I finally have. When me and you finished with the Deja Chronicles, because it really had gone through many, not morphs, but many layers and levels of transformation. And I want to share the story. So I felt so confident about Marti's books, the Deja Chronicles. You've got to get them. I'll put all the information in the description below. So I then contacted some of my relationships in Hollywood. One of them is Wick Godfrey, who Marti right now is actually the president of Paramount Studios. He's the president of Paramount Studios. But before he was president, he did all the what's the other
Twilight.
Twilight
and the Maze Runner.
Alien vs. Predator, the Maze Runner. I mean, Wick is a legend by far, and that's why he's now running one of the biggest movie studios in the world. And we were able to go up to his office on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood and drop off Marti's screenplay for more to come of the Deja Chronicle, and it was a blast. We took Mark with us, Marti's partner. It was awesome. I took my son with me just because the experience alone was something I wanted to enjoy that, and I have never forgotten that, Marti. Being in the office and seeing all the posts, all the success stories of Wick, and he's still I still talk to him today. He's a remarkable guy. It's interesting. He'll actually return my phone call. If it's business, so this is business, Marti. Wick, a busy man. You don't waste his time, and I do respect him.
He was very gracious. The thing that I liked is when we got up there, it was really cool to just walk past security and go straight to his office. That was kind of cool. But I looked down at his desk, and it was just covered in books. Like he had stacks of books. I don't know if you remember that, Kevin. And
no. That's
I was just zoning in on like, what's he reading now? And he, I think Maze Runner was on there at that point, but he's a big reader. So he does his research, which was good for me because it made me feel like, if he's going to take the time to read books and do his research, boy, I better have my ducks in a row before I pitch.
So Marti, I want to end here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share your details in the description below. I want people to reach out to you, Marti, because I believe in you, And I love
Thank you.
everything that you have to really offer at the end of the day. So I want to thank you for your time, Marty. I want to keep it short because people's attention span.
Sure.
If they want to know more, they can contact you directly through email. Follow Marty on Facebook. Get her books because they're amazing. And Marty,
My website's a great way to get a hold of me too. MartiMelville.com.
I love your website. It's very, very nice. And I want to thank you for your time, Marty. And hopefully I can interview you again in the future.
Okay.
You're awesome. Have a blessed day.
Nice to see you, Kevin.
Oh, it was so amazing.
Thank you.
And Marty, thank you for your time.
All righty. Take care.
Cheers, legend.
Bye.